Welcome to the Act Up podcast, where we interview industry professionals who act down. I have the incomparable Eugene Bush with me today.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
Now, Eugene, you have a lot of titles. So you've been an actor.
Yes.
You are a content creator, podcast host, strategist. What are your official titles?
Well, the official title right now is film producer, content creator.
Okay, got you.
But I started this whole thing, Raven, because I wanted to act.
Wow.
Never wanted to touch a camera, never wanted to be in production. I just wanted to be in front of somebody's camera.
Wow.
And smiling and having a good time.
And you're from
Chicago.
Okay.
Yep.
So have you what acting have you done in the Chicago or other areas?
Absolutely. So I'm so glad you asked, because many people don't know I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an agent and everything.
Really?
Absolutely.
You was
Guild
an agent?
talent.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes. And state representative. I got Guild talent when I did background on Empire. So in Chicago, I did a bunch of stuff. I was, in Star Wars. I was the guy with the helmet. You didn't see me because I had my helmet on. Yeah. So I did a bunch of background stuff. Yep. But I did background for a long time, and then I got my first commercial audition in Indiana.
Oh, wow.
It was for Indiana's power supply company. It's called NIPSCO.
Oh, wow.
And so I like to tell people, it's like, I was famous in Indiana for a good 4 years. Like what Flow is to Progressive, that's who I was to NIPSCO.
So why'd you stop, or have you stopped? You're still going.
I'm still going.
You just have other things that are just as important as acting as well.
Well, what I learned is that in this business, acting by itself doesn't do enough to not have me starve.
Understood.
Okay, so I need to make money in the business. And so for me, it was better to do something close enough to acting.
Yeah.
Right? To keep me working and to keep people familiar and keep the connections going, because that's a lot of the gigs that I've gotten weren't traditional.
Yeah.
Like, I have absolutely taken the non-traditional approach to the entire business.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of it happens because of who I know. Like, just I happen to be on set, working. Actually, I was doing background on Empire for Derek Luke.
Oh, really?
I was his stand-in.
Oh, wow.
Yep, but I was acting up as I was doing background, because while I was there, I'm like, I don't want to just stand here and be your subject for lighting. I want to know everything.
Yeah.
So I'm back there with the sound guy. Like, why are y'all using these mics? Right? And with the camera guy, like, what are these cameras? Right?
Yeah.
And they let me do it.
Wow.
So I was literally all over set asking 1,000 questions to everybody, just trying to figure out, how do y'all make this thing happen?
Yeah. It feels like your personality too, which we're going to get into. But we have a drink for you.
Come on.
Patrick, bring in the drankety drink. Now, I have no idea what this is.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to enjoy it regardless. Is there alcohol in there?
Yes.
Thank
you. Teddy, can you describe what this drink is very quickly? Because I think it deserves to have a moment.
Well, this is a Teddy special.
Cool, good.
And Eugene asked me, he said, Teddy, do you guys have any vodka?
Thank you.
And of course I said yes. So I made him one of my cocktail specials. That is a peach basil with a rose infusion vodka.
Wow. So this is special.
Cheers. Cheers.
Absolute cheers.
This is not that,
Wow.
but cheers. How is it?
Amazing. And just right.
Is it
The strong
strong?
way.
Get me lit before green lit.
Okay, well, we're about
I
to
love
have a
it.
very good conversation.
It'll be lit before green lit.
That's right.
He said lit. He said lit before green lit. It's hilarious. Hilarious. All right. So how long have you been in Atlanta?
We moved here in 2017.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's
was
about
that
8 years.
nice?
or
Nice.
so. Yeah, from
Now-
Chicago.
Eugene, I feel like your family took Atlanta by storm. And what I mean by that is you came to Atlanta, and then you were very, very, very active
Absolutely.
within a lot of things in the community.
Yes.
Not just performing, but behind the scenes, around the scenes. So what things have you, like, I feel like you have been a contributor. Like, you have absolutely contributed to elevating Atlanta.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing? Like, I know of it, but can you explain the things that you've done while you've been here?
Absolutely. So when I first touched down here, it was the strangest thing because I've done so much film in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was a big fish, right, in a medium-sized city. I mean, Chicago is a big city, but the entertainment field, is not as thriving, right? And so I was listening to Devon Franklin, who's my mentor, and he was like, sometimes when you want to have God bless you, you got to get into the flow of where God has got those blessings going.
Yeah.
And if you're in entertainment, that's L.A., New York, or Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I got to get to Atlanta. But when I came here, I knew nobody.
Wow.
I mean, no mutual friends on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, you try to look people up, I'm like, really? I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
But what I did know is that the best way to get to know anybody is to work.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? It's if you do the work, then you'll get to see who the characters are, who the players are, all that. And so I attended an event called Screening Room.
Yeah.
Right, with Kalima.
Yes, yes.
So that was the first event I attended when I got to Atlanta, and she was screening short films.
Yeah.
And I was so inspired. I'm like, oh, this is where it's happening.
Yeah.
So I pitched her the idea. I'm like, instead of just doing a screening of one project, why don't we do a showcase? Right? So not a theater showcase where people get on stage and, actors get on there and you typically see that. I'm like, let's do a film showcase. So let's coordinate one day. And in one day, we're going to shoot 8 different films, right? 8 different directors. And each film had 2 actors, so 16 different actors, right? And my crew was going to be there to film it. It all had to happen within a house or shortly, outside of the house.
Yeah.
And so we did this showcase, and it was a huge, like, that's when my name started buzzing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it. I was like, all I did was just do the work.
Yeah.
Right? And it took off, from there. And so then that turned into the E-Tray Writers Room. So we started getting requests to do a bunch of content. And me and the wife were, she's a writer. Yeah. Right? But before we got to Atlanta, she worked at a hospital.
Wow.
She had aspirations to write, but never really wrote. So part of the showcase, I went straight to her and I was like, all right, I need you to create 8 scripts. Wow. They need to be 2 characters. They need to be within a house. And she's like, all right. She did the work, created scripts. And so then we got a bunch of requests after that. Oh, can we work on this film? Can you work on this film? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, y'all realize I'm here to act.
Right.
Like, I'm not here to work. I'm here to, but nobody was hiring me to act. So, so we just started doing more production. So we created a writer's room. We actually put the call out. And again, this is within the first maybe 2 months. Yeah. I put a call out to say, hey, we're looking for writers. We had over 100 submissions.
Wow.
For writers. Dwindled that down to the top 10. And we had for a year, those writers writing all kind of stuff, from internet content to short films to features. And what we gave them in return, because we didn't pay them anything.
Wow.
What we gave them in return was we produced whatever they wrote.
Okay.
And that was the secret sauce to now the wife being hired at Tyler Perry Studios.
Yes.
Now as a writer.
Yep. You are such a doer.
That's it. That's the name of the game, right? Like, it's doing the work.
And I say this as someone who is a hesitator, and that or a starter, and that I have the desire and motivation, but sometimes the finish line, that execution is like, okay, keep it going. Yeah. What is it about you? Where does that come from that you not only do, but you execute, you finish, and you don't hesitate? You really do not hesitate at all.
Game. It's not a game at all. It's like, if you want to do something, do it now.
Do you feel like that's taught, or do you feel like that's just a part of you?
I think it's born from a combination of things, right? Okay. I feel like growing up, I was poor, right? Not just poor. I grew up in the phase where my mother and father would tell me, if you gonna make it, you got to get a job. Yeah. And got to get a good job, good government job with benefits, and right. But being an artist,
Yeah.
Like making money as an artist was foreign.
Right.
Like it was so separate. Like I would look at the people on TV and be like, I will never get on TV. Like how do they do that?
Yeah.
Right. And so I think a lot of it came from the lack, like not having. That was part of it. My faith is a huge part. I'm a PK.
Okay, PK.
Okay.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
My father was a pastor before my mother and dad divorced, and then my mother became a pastor.
Wow.
So she's currently a pastor.
So both
now.
parents. Wow.
Yes. Oh, I got it from both sides.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to go into the ministry lane?
I went to ministry school for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Graduated summa cum laude.
Okay.
Yeah. But then was like, nah, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's something about when you apply the title of pastor.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden I can't enjoy delicious drinks. Like,
come on.
I don't understand what that is. As if,
yes,
God don't see you just like he see me.
Oh,
like we all have the same call. We're all given gifts.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like I'm just walking out mine.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. I want to go back to the writer's room a little bit because one of the things I feel like Atlanta desperately still needs is consistent writers' rooms.
Yes.
Like, do you know, like, if you guys were, like, one of the only, if
We
not
were.
the only one?
For 2 years, we were the only
Wow.
one in Atlanta that had this consistent writer's room.
Wow, that is
Yep.
amazing.
It was really cool. And of the projects, we did Mixed Emotions, which is now available on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
We did some pilot scripts
Yeah.
for Chester Gregory. We did one for him. We did one for B. Simone.
Wow.
We did Ernestine. We had a spec script for her that went out. We did a bunch of projects that came out of it.
Where did you find the funding for this? Or how did that come about,
Yes.
if you don't mind me asking?
Absolutely. So we asked that a lot in Greenlit, right?
Okay.
Because our
Yes.
motto there is create, don't wait.
Yeah.
And we believe like your power is in your ability to execute.
Absolutely.
And too many people try to wait on a studio or wait on the call or wait on your agent or wait on, and it's like, no, you have really, if you have an iPhone,
yeah.
you have everything you need right now to make a film.
Right.
Right? The phone that we have, the camera that's on the phone is better than probably your favorite film.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a 4K camera. It is phenomenal. It's just as long as you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm a big advocate of not just trying to go out and look for something greater. It's like take an inventory of who do you have in your circle? Who's around you? Who do you know? Not trying to network up, right? Like really, who are your friends? Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Get them around
Yeah.
and let's do something.
Okay.
Right? And it doesn't have to be the best skill. I find it cool that Maggie Bush, right? She's the writer. When she got to the Tyler Perry Studios, she started getting a bunch of accolades like, oh my God, your writing is amazing. You fit Hollywood standard and you do this and you do that. That was her and I. You understand? Like,
wow.
She did what made sense in her brain. And we just used what made sense. And of course, we studied it.
Yeah.
But this is all homegrown.
This is amazing. This is incredible. So I want to talk about, so you have this writer's room, which I think is so valuable. I know of really good writers who felt like they couldn't stay in Atlanta because there was no work for them here. And so they didn't want to necessarily leave, but, they had to go where the work is, which was LA and New York. But you also have been really progressive with social media in terms of you've produced a lot, you use it, and you've also worked with a lot of content creators to help them, with social media as well. Yeah. So can you speak about that as well in terms of what prompted that? Is that something that you were doing prior to Atlanta, or is that something that Atlanta kind of, sprouted in you? So
I've always been the advocate for producing your own content.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's a film, short film, it's like you don't have to wait on no one's permission. If you want to act.
Yeah.
Right? Like what?
Yeah.
Right? If you want to direct.
Direct.
Right? And I've had people that come to me like, oh my God, could you, I'm a singer. And, do you need songs in your project? I'm like, yeah, actually I do need songs. Send me some of your music. Oh, I haven't produced any yet. How are you a singer? You're not singing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've always been that guy. Like, whatever you say you're going to do, I should see evidence of you actually doing it.
Come on.
Right? And when social media came up to now, I'm 47.
Okay.
Okay, I know I don't look it.
No, black don't crack.
I know. It took a lot of work, though. This is fibers to get my hairline back. I didn't do any Beijing. Okay, but...
He said it took a lot of work to get it back. It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
Thank you. But being this age, I was around before social media.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I remember Black Planet. I remember MySpace. I remember when the Facebook.
Yes.
When it was
right.
Called
it was the Facebook.
It wasn't even
yes.
Facebook. Right. So I came up during that era, but I was already a big proponent of just doing what you can with what you have. That when social media came up, I was the one excited about it. Like it wasn't a burden for me, but it's because I used it as a tool.
Yeah.
I didn't go on social media to consume.
Ooh.
I go on social media to produce.
Do you still, is that still the case? Do you so what is your personal relationship with social media?
Yes.
Are you a scroller or are you just like, I'm only using it because it's a tool for me?
I have extremely good self-discipline when it comes to my phone.
Okay.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm not the one that's just endlessly scroll. I wake up in the morning, look at my calendar and say, okay, what am I going to do today? Okay, good. And I do my prayers, right? And then I will figure out what do I need to post. Because social media to me is my ability to fulfill the call, right?
Yeah.
And every day I feel the burden of the universe and God asking me, Eugene, what do you have to contribute to society?
Ooh.
What do you have to say? What's in you that needs to be shared to the world? So that's what social media is for me. And of course, I do scroll, right? And so I'll scroll, but my scrolling is usually for research purposes. Okay. Right? Unless I'm on some of the private sites.
Gotcha.
There's a couple sites I frequent. That's
gotcha.
That's not research. Just being honest. But for the most part.
I love it, yes.
For the most part.
I got it.
You got what I'm saying. Okay? OnlyFans can be your friend. It's a subscription base. That's what I'm saying. It's just like Patreon.
It's just like Patreon.
Same thing. Okay? But my discipline is I like to not just scroll and look whatever everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
I literally like to post and see what people are saying about what I post.
Gotcha.
Right? Or a lot of folks don't know the influence that I have on many viral content.
Right.
Right? So it started with my son. Well, it didn't start, but he was one of my biggest, I love telling his story. Yeah. Because he was 18 years old. And he came back from the Marines because he gotten medically discharged. He had a seizure when he was in boot camp.
Oh, wow.
So he came back depressed. Dad, I don't know what I'm going to do in my life, kid stuff, right? I'm like, dude, you're 18. You have your whole life in front of you. But, okay, he had no idea. And I'm like, but, your mother's a writer. Your dad's a content producer. Why don't you do content? Yeah. And he's like, well, I don't know, and he was the one who actually introduced me to TikTok. Oh, so before then, I was doing YouTube stuff and Instagram stuff. And he was like, Dad, there's a new platform, TikTok, and I think I want to do content on there. So I was like, all right, let's do some content. And it's all about just having fun. He was using the iPhone 5.
Wow.
Okay, so not even the latest phone, right? And we did one video. He dressed up as Spider-Man. I dressed up as Spider-Man's dad. And it was a scene in the Spider-Verse where Dad is dropping him off, to school. And he's like over the speaker, tell me you love me, over the sound series. So we redid that scene, right, in this clip. 4 million views on his page. Wow. Somebody else posted it on Twitter. 11 million views on Twitter. Wow. The director from Spider-Verse hit up Genoa. Wow. Deadline did an article on him. Oh, wow. It went crazy. Wow. Okay, and at that point I was like, oh, well, we got something here, right? We have a bona fide hit, right? And so he's kept on doing more content, and now he's at 1.4 million followers on his page. But there was a point we were making him at 22 years old between $6,000 and $10,000 a month.
Are you serious?
With sponsorship deals.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, we got something, right?
That is
but
incredible.
Just as teenagers, so here's the flip, as teenagers would do. Yeah. He looked at me one time and was like, you think you're the star. I'm the Beyonce of the family.
Oh, gosh.
I said, I made you.
Right.
In all the senses of the word. Like,
yes.
really, I made you. But I said, you know what? You're right. Because what's happening is I've been responsible for making so many other people viral, but I never did it for me. And so one day I'm like, if I'm really that dope, if I'm really that guy, can I do it for me?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I've got serious about my TikTok, and within a couple months grew it from 0 to over 100,000.
Wow.
Right? With just a couple videos that took off.
Yeah, right. That is incredible. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That like you have so many incredible stories and you have so many incredible life stories as well. What do you want? Do you what is it? Do you have something that you're striving or looking for?
I think my deepest desire at this point is for people to realize the power that they have. Right? It's I never knew I could do this.
Wow.
Like be an artist?
Yeah.
Making money? I just came back from the Grammys, Raven.
Wow.
We won a Grammy.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
Who's we?
With J. Ivy.
Oh wow.
Exactly.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I did the visuals for his album.
Yeah.
Last year we won a Grammy for the album.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I'm Grammy Award winning teams. My podcast won a Telly Award.
Wow.
Right. And so, but the awards only tell us what we're doing is already dope.
Yeah.
Because we have to produce dope content in order to get the award.
Right.
Right. So I never knew that I could really make a go of this life and make this happen.
Yeah.
And so now being here, right, I drive my dream car.
Which is very nice, by the way.
Thank you. It is my dream. And people see me pulling up in it and they like, oh, he rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm just as surprised as y'all are. Right? I'm like, do y'all see this car? This thing's amazing. I never knew I could be here as an artist. And so my biggest burden right now is to show other people that you can do it too. Yeah. You literally can. Like anyone you can make yourself a celebrity.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the world that we are in for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And the biggest nugget is like, here's the trick. For your viewers.
Yes.
Act Up Podcast exclusive. Okay? Here's the trick. Understand that for you to walk in your power, you have to elevate yourself. You got to separate yourself. You got to make yourself bigger than everyone else around you. How do we make it bigger? Put it on screen.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you put it on screen.
Yeah.
There's something that happens when you observe somebody in person, they seem regular.
Yeah.
But if I see you on my phone, whether it's a phone screen or I see you on my TV, it's a TV screen, or I'm at the movie theater, I see you on a film screen.
Yeah.
When I view you through a screen, it shifts.
Yes. I'm aware. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
It seems bigger. Okay. Because it's true. Right? So that's the key. If you want to separate yourself, put yourself on screen.
Yeah. That's good. I love it. All right. We are going to ask every guest this question.
Let's go.
I'm excited to ask you. So what's been your favorite age thus far?
Favorite age, I would say absolutely is 40.
Oh, good.
When I say 40, because 40 scared me.
Ooh.
Before I got there.
Okay.
I was the kid that was growing up at 18, like, yo, I'm going to be rich before I'm 30.
Yeah, yeah.
30-years are old. What?
I know.
I remember I used to be like, they were old.
Yeah.
And so when I hit 30 and I wasn't a millionaire, I was like, what's going on with my life?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I really felt depressed. And when I hit 40, everything started clicking.
Wow.
Like it just started happening. 40 was the age when we moved here too.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
That gets me, I'm excited about that. I'm 39. So I have one more year before then. But okay,
it's
good.
about to blow.
All right. So if you weren't a actor, film producer, content creator, what would you be doing?
Oh my God. If I wasn't that, I would be that. I still think I would be in this business.
I understand.
This business, you know, I've heard people that say work-life balance and, you know, you want to have something that you do outside of the business.
Yeah.
I don't live that way.
Yeah.
Like, the business to me is my call.
Gotcha.
It's like, it is my purpose.
Yeah.
And it's not the purpose of me having to make money and be in front of somebody's TV screen or be on a show. It's not that. If I'm not on a show, I'm teaching somebody how to do their own show. If I'm not teaching you how to do your own show, I'm actually producing someone else's show.
Yeah.
And if I'm not producing your show, I have my own responsibility to take what's in me and pour out. I want to die empty.
Wow.
I don't want to die with an idea, with a vision, right? Not just for me. I've seen other people when you run into them, right?
Yeah.
You included, Raven.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm on that list. Yes.
I've been a fan of you for years.
Wow.
I mean, just your poise, your professionalism, how you handle business.
Yeah.
All of it. I was like, she is amazing.
Oh,
I
thank
can't
you.
wait till the world gets a hold of Raven.
Oh, thank you.
Right? And that's why I'm so happy to be here.
You
on
trust
the
me, you are a
podcast.
big part of me doing this push to get from behind the cameras,
Yeah.
you know? So thank you for that.
And the world, you're welcome.
There you go. Yes. All right. So do you prefer brunch or happy hour?
Happy hour.
And we see why. Yes. All right. So
I think just everything. Life is better with libations.
you know what? I don't know about that right now,
Oh, okay.
but
Oh,
you
you
know,
can.
I have, you know,
You're
yes.
given life, different considerations.
So what do you love about being an artist, a producer here in the Southeast, particularly?
What I love about the Southeast is, number one, the weather. I'm from Chicago.
Oh, shush.
Okay, and it's
Yeah.
more than just the torture of being in the cold,
Yeah.
but I can film year round,
Yes.
right? It doesn't ever get so cold where it's that uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And there are people, I've heard somebody like, oh my God, the Hawk is out in Atlanta. The Hawk has never been to Atlanta. It doesn't even visit. Okay,
Yes.
Chicago's Hawk,
Absolutely.
you know the Hawk. The Hawk is when you can't breathe,
Yeah.
and the only thing that comes out your mouth is Hawk. Like
Yes.
that's what it means. That
Yes.
like it's that cold. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So I love that I can work year round here, but also the way people move. Right.
Mhm.
It's so much easier to move as an entrepreneur and to make the connections.
Absolutely.
Right. Like I was just at the gathering spot the other day and T.I. walks through and I'm like, what up, Tip? And he's like, what up, Eugene? And I'm like, that's dope.
Yeah, that's Atlanta.
Right. That's Atlanta.
Absolutely. What's the most challenging thing you've done lately?
Oh, God. Okay.
I
yeah.
know.
So if I'm saying the most challenging, I think the most challenging is probably family.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like
yeah.
it's, you know, family is the only people on the planet you don't choose. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yes. Yes.
you know, it's like
yeah.
you have who they are, and you have a responsibility to them.
Absolutely.
To do right by folks, right?
Mhm.
But overcoming that challenge is really just diving deeper into who I am. I feel like the best thing that I can do for friends or family is be a better me. Right? When
yeah.
I'm whole, then I can pour from a whole cup. But I can't pour from an empty plate, you know?
Absolutely.
But it is by far that, Jesus Christ.
We could have a whole other podcast episode.
That literally could
I'm
be a
just
whole nother
saying.
episode.
All right. So what makes you feel alive?
What makes me feel alive is when I see the light go off in someone's eyes that finally understands that they too can achieve their goals.
Yeah. That's
When
good.
I love that, like even on this show, right?
Yes.
We're giving details, and at one point, Thad is like, I was like, Thad, man, just take that lens, put it here, and move this light here, and I saw the bulb go off. He was like, wow.
Yeah.
This small thing, like that gives me life.
Yeah.
You understand?
I get it.
Right? It's those moments, and I know so people don't recognize. Like I'm 47.
Yeah.
Entertainment is like my third life.
Wow. Yeah.
I got my college degree in computer science from DePaul.
Mm.
Worked 18 years corporate.
Wow.
From IT to project management.
Yeah.
At the height, I was the change manager at Bank of America.
Wow.
And so I managed 5 different offices as IT projects only. That was my first life.
Right.
And then made enough money to realize money's not the answer.
Yeah.
And said, I need to do what's in my heart.
Uh-huh.
When you make enough of it, you're going to be like, and still feel that emptiness in your heart.
Yeah.
Right? That. Yeah. And that's
Daddy,
literally,
please.
no, that was such a benchmark. Before I made
Yeah.
them, before I was living debt free, before I had vacation, all I thought was, if I get the money, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
If I just get the money, I'll be happy. And I was making, my bonus checks were 60 grand.
Yeah.
Right? Like just,
Yeah.
and I'm like, y'all been doing this for how long?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bonus checks were crazy, right? And so everything was paid off. The apartment's paid off. The furniture's paid off. Everything's paid off. And I was still going to work like, why do I still feel empty? Like what's missing?
Yeah.
And what was missing was God has blessed me to have so much in me. IT background, family background, film background, acting, and I need to pour out. Like I need to. And so that's why we started Greenlit. Right, Greenlit is my outlet for folks. Folks who were like, Eugene, how do we make this happen? Come to Greenlit, I'll tell you, right? Because I can't spend all my time just always pouring into people because I also need to make some money.
Yeah.
Right. But Greenlit is my outlet to see people elevate. But that's what brings me the most joy. It brings me the most happiness.
I love it, Eugene. What a gift. What a gift. How can people reach out to you, find out about you, contact you, follow you, help, achieve their dreams?
Absolutely. E-Tray Productions everywhere. So I'm Eugene Bush III.
Okay.
So my company is E-Tray, E-T-R-E.
Gotcha.
E-Tray Productions on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You'll find me there. You'll also find me on Greenlit ATL. That's the #1 film and TV networking event in Atlanta.
Nice.
Going on, we're in our 6th year.
Wow.
Every month, even through the pandemic.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, we did a digital showcase during the pandemic to keep the spirit of energy going. And so, again, we talked about the motto of Greenlit, create, don't wait. Because that's how we got here.
Yeah.
Right? Is I don't wait on anybody. Is if you have an idea, let's do it, period.
Yeah.
And so you can find me on Greenlit ATL on that page, but E-Tray Productions, everything else.
Eugene, E-Tray Productions, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for pouring out your gifts to this podcast, to all of us in the room, to the audience. Thank you so much.
It has been my pleasure, and I'm just so happy that I got to act up.
Yes, you got to
on
act
the Act Up podcast. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Eugene. Thank you.